Pierre Poilievre announcing he will be repealing the Liberals' catch and release policies and crack down on repeat offenders and crime. And this goes directly into the next thing that we want to talk about, and that is the police unions are lining up behind the Conservatives. Now we have the private sector construction unions, like the Boilermakers.
Yep.
And now we have the police unions lining up behind the Conservatives. But anyways, let's go into Poilievre announcing he'll repeal the Liberal catch and release policies.
In Vancouver, police had to arrest the same 40 offenders 6,000 times. That means that each offender was arrested on average once every 2 days all year long. And those are just the crimes for which they got caught. Can you imagine being arrested 150 times in a year? You must be doing crime all day, every day for that to be the case. In other cities, we have individual offenders who by themselves raise the crime rate for an entire city. There's one offender in Penticton that police say when he's out of jail, the crime rate for all of Penticton goes up because he by himself does that much crime. The good news is that we don't have a lot of criminals in Canada. The bad news is they're very productive. Enough. It's time to lock up the very small group of rampant career criminals who are causing all the chaos. We cannot go on with another 4 years of Liberal catch and release. We need a change to bring safety back to our streets. That's why I am announcing today that a future Conservative government will bring that change. Not only will we repeal Liberal catch and release laws, we will carry out the biggest crackdown on crime in Canadian history. And we will do it by passing the 3 strikes you're out law. 3 strikes you're out means that anyone convicted of 3 serious offenses will be ineligible thereafter for bail, probation, parole, or house arrest. And they will serve a minimum of 10 years behind bars, a maximum of life imprisonment, and they will have to earn their release even still. We will designate such offenders as dangerous offenders, meaning they cannot be released until they have proven that they are no longer a danger to society. Under my watch, the only way for repeat offenders to obtain their freedom will be through spotless behavior and clean drug tests during a lengthy minimum prison sentence with earned release dependent on making real progress in improving their lives, such as learning a trade or upgrading their education. They will also have to take drug tests to prove that they are clean.
You know what? I'm shocked at how actually reasonable that is. That's not even, doesn't seem to me tough on crime at all. You know, like it reminds me of that song, like Try This in a Small Town in Texas, I guess, because he's saying 3 dangerous convictions and you'll get a minimum of 10 years and you'll be classified as 10 years to life, classified as a dangerous offender, and you'll have to earn your release. That doesn't actually seem all that bad. In the United States, like 3 felonies in some states and you're gone for life, like life.
Yeah.
So this, I mean, there has to be something to discourage the criminals. And right now they're getting bail as quickly as they're getting charged.
Well, yes, because one of the main issues of our crime rates in Canada is the rate of recidivism. People will repeat the same crimes if there are no consequences. And don't tell me, Sheila Gunn Reid, that looking at 10 years behind bars, 10 years to life behind bars is not going to put a pause in some people's step. It's just not worth the cost. It's absolutely worth it if you can do the crime and be out in the afternoon and keep doing it. And another part of the Conservative policy that's really pertinent as we talk about all of these things is the treatment of addicts in Canada, because we know that where there is substance abuse, crime follows. The end, where you have people using illicit drugs or trying to get their hands on illicit drugs. There isn't anything that somebody who is addicted to, meth or fentanyl or any of the really bad drugs, there is no limit to what they'll do to get their hands on those drugs. So if you fix the drug addiction, oftentimes the crimes will fix itself. But if it doesn't, then this new set of criteria is going to kick in to get rid of the rest of the bad guys. So this is an
Yep.
awesome plan for us, Canada. There used to be a time where you could leave your stuff outside and it wouldn't get stolen. Like, believe it or not, this used to
Yeah.
be a common. We used to be a high trust society where you could walk down the streets of Canada at night and not have any fear at all about who you might bump into or who you might stumble over. And because of 10 years of terrible Liberal policy, we don't have that anymore. But it sounds like Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives have a plan to combat that and bring that back to us, that safety and security that every Canadian deserves.
Well, yeah, and we've got the Toronto Police Association. So Toronto is just a crime-plagued city. They say yesterday evening, our members seized 3 firearms in a matter of hours. 2 were seized by Division 22 and a third at the other end of the city in Division 51. I think David Menzies spent some time in Division 51. Gun seizures used to be rare, but now they're a daily occurrence, sometimes many times over. Gun bans and buyback programs do not work. Thank you. We've asked Mark Carney and Pierre Poilievre for their positions on this issue, and we believe our members and our communities deserve to know how their future prime minister intends to support police and public safety. We look forward to hearing back from them.
Well, we
They're
know that
flat
the
out saying,
Liberals, we know
yeah,
that the Liberals are willing to take away your guns to send them to the Ukraine. So we know that this is, they are against lawful gun
yeah,
owners, lawful and
yep.
responsible gun owners, and yet they let this happen in our streets where criminals have their hands on guns. I mean, we already know their answer. What
Yeah.
does Pierre Poilievre have to say?
Like, that's the largest police service in the country outside of the RCMP, maybe the OPP, but I don't think so.
Mm.
Coming out and saying, like, these guys are on the front line of bad progressive crime policies,
They
coming out
would
and
see it
saying,
instantaneously. Yeah, they would see
yeah,
the impacts instantaneously.
they're coming out and saying, don't target the law abiding. They're coming out against the Liberal policies on this issue, saying that it's just not working. And it's true, it's not. We have Sid Fizzard, a Rebel News journalist who was at the Mark Carney event in Calgary last night. He's going to tell us all about that. He's coming in 2 minutes. But first, before we go to him, let's just show this clip of Mark Carney saying that he doesn't agree with Poilievre's hard stance on violent criminals with his new 3 strikes policy. Coming out on the side of the criminals. Bold idea, Mark. Anyway, instead of the victims. Like, unbelievable. Let's hear it.
Look, I'm for serious crimes or habitual crimes, which is the question. The full force of the law should be applied and appropriately severe punishment put in place.
The problem is there's no force in the law.
I don't jump to a baseball rule of 3 strikes and you're out for a period of time. No, it's a simple answer.
Do you believe in penalty boxes in hockey, Mark? Maybe we should use a hockey analogy. Do you believe in being stuck in a penalty box when you do something bad, or being ejected from the game when you do something bad? I mean, honestly, three is enough. 2 is enough. 1 is enough. And he's like, no,
Right.
no, let's keep giving the criminals chances.
Want to stay on top of the latest current events, but don't trust the mainstream media to help you do that? Then check out our daily live stream coverage of the latest news and totally unscripted at rebelnews.com/roundup.